Sorry about that, you all. I want to apologize. Sorry about my live going. I don't know what's going on. It's not my internet, y'all. So that's not the problem. I honestly do not know what is going on because this happened Friday. It started Friday on this channel and it wasn't doing it. And now it's starting to do that a lot. I don't know what's going on. But welcome to my live. I am Dr. Lillie. Welcome to a safe space with Dr. Lillie. We will continue where we stopped, okay? Come on in, hit that like button, show me that you appreciate me, and I appreciate you all. And how I appreciate you all, I come on here and I'm giving y'all the knowledge about grief, loss, and trauma. Okay? I apologize for that. I honestly don't know what's going on, Dr. Reverend JC, because it's not my internet. I'm not having problems with my internet. And it happened, Friday? It started doing it Friday. So I don't understand, and it's rather upsetting to be honest. But we're gonna continue. Hello, SSKW8HF. How you doing? Thank you for coming in. So we're gonna start where we left off. Okay. Welcome to my live. I am Dr. Lillie. This is a safe space with Dr. Lillie. So continuation of where my live stopped. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Getting busy and preoccupied with something that completely the opposite of the situation at hand. You start cleaning, knitting, etc., in the hope that it will just go away on its own. No, it doesn't just go away on its own. Trauma is there and there's healing needs to take place. Having a tendency to freeze. Again, that is from the 4 F's of trauma response chart that I showed you all. This may look like going completely blank or finding it hard to express anything. Having little or no desire or ability to go out for or make any kind of social engagement. Hoping that if you get really quiet and still, don't make a peep, the issue will just go away on its own. No one would know, right? That's not how it goes. That's not healing. The trauma gonna still be there. Completely forget a stressful or traumatic situation even happened. When someone asks you about it, you might say, what are you talking about? Or you really have no recollection of the incident. Having passed time without much awareness, it having passed time without much awareness, be it for minutes, hours, days, or years. Just because time passes, whatever you experience that hurt you, your trauma, is not going to just go away. Days can go by, weeks can go by, months can go by, years can go by. Trust me, I lived it. It doesn't just go away. And those of you that do not know about my autobiography, this is my autobiography, The Purple Cinderella, Surviving Multiple Childhood, RAPISTS. The pain, the trauma doesn't go away by time. No, I wrote my book at 41. I had a pivotal moment at 38 years old. The pain remains the same. You can get yourself so busy sewing, opening up boutiques, writing books, whatever. The pain remains the same. The healing is what you need. A listening ear is what you need. Again, this is my book, The Purple Cinderella, Surviving Multiple Childhood, RAPISTS. I'm going to read the back of it so you can know why I'm presenting my book during this live, because it's relatable about trauma. I am the Purple Cinderella. I got my glass slipper back at the beautiful age of 38. What led me to that moment was a life full of heartache and pain. I found myself at the point of suicide. In that pivotal moment, I got my glass slipper back, my life. I walked around dead inside for many years. My heart-wrenching childhood took me there. I was RAPED'd by my adult step brothers, some of my step uncles, and some of my adult step cousins and other men. They all stole a part of Cinderella's glass slipper. I became used to this childhood torture. I accepted the torture. I even fell in love with the torture. Not only was I made to lie on my back and service the pedophiles, my sister and I would slave labor from my step family as well, forced to scrub and clean like Cinderella. Heartache and pain continued through my adulthood, bandages, crying inside. But at the pivotal moment of 38, God gave me life. Now I live. I got my glass slipper back. And I want to see you all get back to your happiness, getting your glass slipper back, getting your glass slide back, whatever it is that brought you that the happiness. Trauma is not who you are. It happened to you. And you don't have to resign there anymore, okay? So let's get back to the lesson. Again, that is my book, The Purple Cinderella. It is available in ebook and paperback on Amazon, The Purple Cinderella. Look for this cover and put in author Lillie Young. It should come right up. Also, in my description is the link to purchase my book. You can buy it in paperback or ebook. Let's continue. Completely forget a stressful or traumatic situation even happened. When someone asks you about it, you may say, "What are you talking about?" And you really do have no recollection of the incident. Having time pass without much awareness, be it for minutes, hours, days, or years, the pain remains the same. A mix of responses. Many of us default to different responses in different situations. Maybe you, okay, tend towards fight in some situations, find yourself wanting to flee in others, go completely blank and shut down in others. So which one of those do you find yourself doing? Because it says maybe you. Do you tend towards fight mode in some situations? Or do you find yourself wanting to flee in other situations? Go completely blank and shut down in others. I think I have done all three when I was in survival mode. When you're in survival mode, your goal is to stay alive. I had me and my daughter. My goal was to stay alive to make sure she lives a good life and do not experience the trauma that I have experienced. But there's no guarantee in that because things can happen to your children that you don't learn happen to them too. They are grown and they tell you. So you try to protect them as much as you can. Just a moment. Let me take a sip of water. How y'all doing in my chat? Say hello. Come out the bushes and say hello. You need your trauma responses. These three responses, fight, flight, and freeze, are necessary and important. They are your survival instincts. You need them. They keep you out of harm's way. In fact, you couldn't survive without them. It's yours, your nervous system, your autonomy nervous system that governs these responses. Your survival instincts in action. Here are some basic real life examples of these automatic stress response in action. A, let's say you're cutting onions and you are wearing summer sandals, and then all of a sudden the knife slips out of your hands and is headed straight to your bare toes and feet. Ooh, that's scary. But in an instant, without thought, because this kind of thing happens in fractions of seconds, you pull your feet out of the way and you miss the falling knife. This is your flee response working for you. Keeping your body, in this case, your toes and feet, safe. You go into flee, which is flight, because it keeps you safe. Fight, flight, and freeze is what we're talking about today. Trauma response. B, maybe you're at a beach and someone who you read as safe decides to set up really close to you and they start to harass your best friend. Your friend is not comfortable with this in her default to freeze in this situation. She is too afraid to speak up and defend herself, but you don't have any troubles defending her. You raise your voice a bit, puff up your shoulders, and show your feathers. and ask the person to leave. That's your fight response working for you and your friend. It's keeping you and your friend safe. I have done that same thing for me. Because I have friends, they I grew up differently. My brother would make me fight when I was a kid, and then after that, he didn't have to make me fight no more. I would just do it. But anyway, some people, they don't know how to fight, and it's not a good thing to fight, but you need to defend yourself. I totally believe in defending yourself. But anyway, I have had to do that for friends. I'm gonna give you an example. We came down here to Atlanta for Freaknik, where I'm from, and we were targeted by a bunch of guys, and they tried to rob us. But my instinct quickly went into fight because I'm smart enough to take my purse and throw the, make it a crossbody over my body. They couldn't take mine. Out of all my friends, and they would tell you this because some of us talked about this on social media, I didn't get anything stolen. My hair was all over my head. But when I tell you I broke out fighting, because that's something that my brother taught me, and I always knew how to do that. I'm not afraid of anyone. I don't care how big you are, whatever. It was a group of young men. We was down here at Freaknik back in the 90s, I think 93, maybe a 92. No, it's 93. And I am the only one, because I struck out fighting. I ain't let nobody take nothing from me. Yeah, they may have pulled my hair was shedding, but I still had everything. My friend that drove down, they took her BMW keys. We couldn't get back. We got to her vehicle, but we couldn't get in the vehicle. It was just a mess. All of them, because no one taught them how to fight. I will say this too, because we already had this discussion. No one taught them how to fight. Their stuff was taken. I still had mine. My trauma taught me a lot, and I'm thankful to my deceased brother that he taught me to defend myself. And I had plenty of experience. So don't let a pretty face fool you, and don't let a small frame fool you. All right? So it says that your fight response working for you and your friend is keeping her and you safe. The fight response keeps you safe if you use it properly. Let's say you are driving along a highway. Excuse me, y'all. I was eating before I went live. I apologize. Let's say you're driving along the highway and you come across a pretty serious accident, and it's clear that the people are hurt. You can even see some injured people, and it doesn't look pretty. Maybe it's even so severe that it's tough to look at. But you find that you kind of stayed and fixated on what you see. Your body kind of goes numb and you don't really feel anything, even though you think you should, given the situation. This is your freeze response working for you. It's not allowing you to perceive all the feelings and sensations that come when one witness a horrific event. There are a dozen more examples. Okay, that's just something they footnote. For now, what's important is to understand that you've got these automatic body responses: fight, flight, freeze. They're built-in system in your body, part of what science calls autonomic nervous system, in that they are designed to protect you and keep you safe. So this person froze, and it says it's the automatic response for it when you see an accident, like something like this happen. I remember a couple years, many years ago, because my daughter was in elementary school, and I drove her to school, dropped off. I thank God it didn't happen while she was in the vehicle with me. But on my way home, after I dropped her off to school, it was raining so bad, y'all. And it was like this road is kind of slanted, but you can't see past the trees and the hill and everything. So I thought I had to clear to pull out and go, on the main road. But I end up pulling out, and the person's car went off the hill down. And the only thing that saved that vehicle was this big old tall tree stump thing that saved him from going way down in the ditch. And I got out the car. It scared me. I was worried about the people. I was having a panic attack and I froze. That's something that can happen. It can happen. I remember when I got sued for writing my book, The Purple Cinderella, and I got served. And when the officer came to my door, because that particular morning we didn't have to work on set, because we usually work several days on the particular set I worked on that was from Fox TV at that time. I got served for writing my book, The Purple Cinderella. This was in 2017, September. It might have been the 8th or 9th when I got served. And because my book was written back in 2014. Okay. Anyway, when the officer served me, because I'd never been served before in my life, I froze. But then when she showed me whose name was on the paperwork, I cried. I could not believe I was getting sued by somebody that did something to me. But anyway, I froze. And that is somewhat considered part of protection for you. Because it says your body kind of goes numb and you don't really feel anything, even though you think you should, given the situation. I did. I froze for a moment. I was shocked. I was in disbelief that someone that took advantage of me as a child was doing this to me. So, moving along, I don't want to get too into that. Just a moment. How y'all doing? Yes, please hit the like button for me. Subscribe, comment, share. Help my channel grow. Thank you. Welcome to a safe space with Dr. Lillie. It says we can get stuck in survival mode. As you all know, I discussed this last week. I spent a huge portion of my life in survival mode. And I have to be careful with that I don't allow myself to get back in that situation. So we're going to discuss we can get stuck in survival mode. We just talked about this, last week, you all? Hold on. Remember how I said above that fight, flee, and freeze, which same as flight, flee is. Freeze, response are necessary. We need them to survive. Well, this is true. Yet, they are not meant to be on 24/7. When I was in survival mode, I was on them 24/7, okay? They are meant to stop once the stressor or threat or harm event is over. So we can go back to normal, easy functioning, that least alert and on guard. Our body and its systems, digest, immune, hormonal, muscular, and cardiovascular, brain, etc., don't want to live in constant fight, flight, or freeze. Our body do not want to constantly live in it. I lived in it for many years. But I thank God I didn't lose my mind living in survival mode for so many years. But that was my way of coping. I didn't have parents. I raised myself. I experienced so many different forms of abuse my entire childhood through my teen years, and some of it I allowed to spill over into my adulthood. So I spent many years in survival mode. But my reasoning for doing it was to protect my child. Let's continue. When we stay revved up in fight, flight, freeze, survival energies, our stress hormones or adrenaline and cortisol get depleted and overused. And I'm going to tell y'all something. I say this a lot, and people tell me this: you don't look like your story. Don't you know, when I wrote my book, The Purple Cinderella, and I was in Sandy Springs, and I was being interviewed, and it was for TV. And somebody asked me, well, you don't look like your story. Did you really live this? Baby, I lived everything I put in my book. I even did my own documentary, and people from my hometown that have known me all my life spoke about it as well. I thank my Lord and Savior. I do not look like my testimony. Thank you, Jesus. Woo, thank you. Okay. When we stay revved up in fight, flight, freeze, survivor energies, our stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol, get depleted and overused. Let's face it, our current society typically doesn't support a low stress lifestyle. That is true. Even with this current administration, we are somewhat, I hate to admit it, in survival mode, okay? Many of us are constantly on and always on the go. Sound familiar? Yes, it does. Then add in trauma from accidents, early adversity and abuse, high school bullying, maybe emotional disconnect and overly anger. I'm going to read that to you again. Then add in trauma from accidents, early adversity and abuse, high school bullying, and maybe emotional disconnected, overly anger. Even bullying from being in high school can cause people trauma. That trauma can, it can spill into your adulthood. But I believe and we serve a powerful God that we will heal. We are healed. Okay, unpredicted are verbally abusive parents plus a home life that is never felt safe, supportive, and secure. And there you have it, the perfect breeding ground for being wired 24/7 to fight, flight, and freeze nervous system pathways. How often do you feel these survival instincts? Once a day? Maybe. A few times? 1 to 5 a day? Maybe 5 or more a day, or all the time. I have been where I was experiencing it all the time because I was in survival mode. Even when I moved here to Atlanta, I didn't know anyone. I moved here, I didn't know anyone. And I experienced a lot of craziness. I remember because when I first moved here, I was into music. And that's why I didn't want to do it anymore because you've been in studios late. And to me, it's not safe for a woman unless you got a bodyguard or something. But anyway, I remember one time I fell asleep at this guy's place and we was working on music. And he was trying to force me to do the do. And it's like when I have already been living in survival mode from where I moved from, then I moved here and I had to continue it. And it is much more going on in a big city, Atlanta. So it could be all the time. I'm just being honest with you. Many of us spend way more time in survival response than our bodies and minds were designed to do. Raise my hand. That's true. And as you read next, when we do is create illness and limitation in our lives and in ways that traditional approaches and willpower often do little to really challenge. So our trauma sometimes can overpower our willpower. But with prayer, I think that helps out a lot with that. Your willpower is the power that's God-given power. And I believe, because for me, this is what worked for me, prayer. It works. It worked for me. Trap stress causes illness and limitation, but it doesn't have to. If we don't ever come down and out of our stress responses, we will end up with stress-related elements. That mean like illness in your body, high blood pressure, etc., heart attacks, etc., strokes. I remember when I got sued for writing my book, The Purple Cinderella. I was looking for an attorney because I had to get an attorney out of South Carolina. Jesus, be a fence and a belson. I was driving back here from where I previously am from, and I almost had a stroke on the road. I'm gonna have to control my emotions on this. Jesus, be a fence. Okay. I felt my whole right side of my face go numb. And I said, God, just get me off this exit so I can be okay. Ooh, y'all, that is something. It can stress related ailments. I tell you that. Trauma. Yes, God. Holy, hallelujah. We're gonna move along. Stress can do a number on you if you don't allow yourself to go through a healing process from trauma. And it's not gonna, it doesn't mean that something else is not gonna come up in your life that can traumatize you. Grief and loss, let's say you have a loved one to pass, it can affect you as well. So I'm not gonna make you that promise. I would be lying. Okay, physical and emotional troubles. This is a list of some of the alignments that can happen to you and troubles that can visit us when we stuck on these patterns of fight, flight, and freeze. Okay, it said heart disease, obesity, chronic fatigue syndrome, addiction, sleep troubles, insomnia, sleep, apnea, I don't know how to pronounce it, apnea, I don't know how to pronounce it, adrenal fatigue, fibromyalgia. I forgot how to say it, but I said it the other day. Look over it, pray for me. Chronic pain, irritable bowel syndrome, ulcers, Crohn's disease, depression, anxiety attacks, panic attacks, low self-esteem, low self-worth, helplessness, hopelessness. Jesus. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. And it even says cancer. I'm going to say this to y'all because this is important for you to know. Even though I am certified in these things as a grief and loss specialist, that does not mean that I too can have my moments. They taught us that in class. Because I remember when I was going, for my training and lessons for it, and I went to lunch at Papados with a friend, and I was discussing with him about it, but he was like, how can you help someone that is grieving when you have had grief and stuff like that? He was saying that. But what they taught us, you can even be going through grief and loss and trauma, and that doesn't mean you're not a listening ear for others. So don't mistake because I got emotional tonight that I'm not capable of being a listening ear to you, because you can still be experiencing something and still be a listening ear to someone. Okay. Toxic relationships. But the thing is, when you are in sessions with people, you have to stay in the moment with that client. You do not make it about you. And I'm good at that. Okay. One moment, please. Thank you, Reverend. Toxic relationships that perpetuate, trouble communicating and expressing oneself, inability to set clear boundaries, difficulty with intimacy and deep love. I have this thing set for no, it's not for children, so we're good on this conversation. When it said difficulty with intimacy and deep love, intimacy is different things, but I'm going to say this: trauma can get in a woman's hips, it can get in her womb, and that can cause, well, let's say it's a married couple, the woman ain't going to want to, because of whatever trauma she experienced. Trauma can get in your shoulders, your back, etc. Struggle, demonstrating or feeling empathy. No desire to connect or bond with others. Parenting struggles. Going blank in the middle of a conversation. Procrastination. Resistance. Mental blocks. Trouble focusing. That's brain fog. Dissociation. The need for perfection. Never being good enough. Playing small. I definitely don't believe in playing small. Fear of failure. Fear of success. Trouble asking for help. Lacking inspiration. No sense of real purpose. Lack of drive. Inability to move forward. Scattered thoughts. This is healing trauma, you guys. Welcome to a